Hello and welcome back to my channel, HiralsWorld. Today we'll be talking about a country where kiwi is not a fruit but actually it's a bird. It's well known for its friendly people and it was actually on top of my list when I was deciding to study and settle abroad. So this country is none other than New Zealand, and today we'll be covering everything about it in this video, including if you are pursuing studies or if you want to settle in this country or if you want to find in-demand jobs in this country, how should you be going about it? This video is going to cover up number one, cost of studying in New Zealand, some of the PR options that you can go for, what are the post-study work visa options, and it is going to cover up some of the in-demand courses. That means what should you study? Because as a study abroad and career abroad advisor and counselor, I get this question all the time. If I'm doing journalism, what kind of country should I choose? If I am doing project management, what kind of country is good for me to settle in? So today we'll be covering about New Zealand and we will be covering everything that there is to know so that you can decide about your future better when it comes to New Zealand. So without further ado, let's dive into this video. But before that, if you're landing on this page for the first time, hi, I'm HiralsWorld. I make videos about working abroad, studying abroad, and I live in Canada, so you'll be also finding a lot of Canada vlogs on this channel. Now you must be asking, Hiral, you have only lived in Canada, so why are you covering New Zealand? Well, when I was a student and when I was deciding to study abroad, I had shortlisted few countries and you can know all about it in this video over here. But when I was selecting these countries, New Zealand was on my top priority list. And why? Because it has the 7th best education system in the world. It is well recognized. It is very small country, so it has only up to 8 universities, and those universities are in top 500 ranked universities in the world. So that means overall, when it comes to its education system, it is very well recognized. So recently I posted this video on comparing different countries and I got so many questions about, what's right for me, which program should I be studying in, and how do I go about this. I also got this one specific comment which was about New Zealand, and I kept getting different comments on different videos about New Zealand. And I thought to myself, well, New Zealand has always been first top priority on my list. So why not help you all decide better whether you are going to be able to study or work or settle in New Zealand or not. Now let's talk about tuition fees and cost of studying and the expenses of living there. If you have watched this video, you would notice that I have talked very briefly about ROI, which is return on investment. That is how consultants are trying to fool you and how they are trying to tell you that, hey, you know what, you're only spending 15 lakhs, but then you are getting this much package later on. But hey, you also have to look at the living expense in that country, right? Because you are going to spend in that country's currency when it comes to living, even when you're earning as a worker. So let's talk about first tuition fees. So if you are studying in New Zealand, then you can expect the tuition fees from anywhere from $20,000 to 30,000, or rather 35,000 New Zealand dollars. The living expenses widely depends on the areas that you're living in. So for example, if you were to live in, let's say, Wellington or Auckland, then of course your living cost is going to be a little bit higher, which is going to be around 1,500 to 2,000 New Zealand dollars for a person. And again, this includes everything, right? Your cell phone, your internet, your groceries, your rent, everything. But let's say if you were to move into some inner parts of New Zealand, or some not so well-known parts of New Zealand, then your living expense might go down to $1,200 to anywhere up to $2,000. Depends on your living and lifestyle choices that you make. Now, if you are planning to study in New Zealand, there are about 8 universities, as I already told you before, and those universities I'll be just putting in the description box below along with their Queswealth ranking. But there are also some of the scholarships that are very popular in New Zealand. Especially these scholarships are not only given by the universities but also from government of New Zealand. When I came to Canada, I got one of the Canadian government funded scholarship for international students. Now that scholarship is no longer available for the international students. It's still available for the permanent residents and the Canadian citizens. But New Zealand government has put up at least 5 such scholarships for international students, and some of these scholarships are so good that they pay your 100% tuition plus your travel cost plus your accommodation. So it's all in all really a good deal. So some of the scholarships that have caught my eye is one is called New Zealand Scholarship. This scholarship is actually available for Pacific countries, Asia, Africa, Latin America. The other scholarship that has attracted my eyes is New Zealand Pacific Scholarship. The other, I think, scholarships that if you are from India or from neighboring countries, then something that can also work in your favor is something known as Commonwealth scholarships. There are New Zealand development scholarships as well, where any eligible citizen from a developing country can apply. There is also Manaki New Zealand scholarship. Now, Manaki is a native language of New Zealand, and you must know that like New Zealand by default was not an English speaking country, and so was Canada too, right? It was colonized just like India or any other country. So Manaki is something where like New Zealand government is doing a lot more to kind of create awareness around it. Same is happening in Canada as well, where like we are creating a lot more awareness around Aboriginal people and the First Nations who are living here. So like that, Manaki New Zealand scholarship is actually available for the international students as well. So this in itself can speak about how much New Zealand government is doing for not only their people but also for the international students. On that note, if you want to study in New Zealand, you can reach out to my team. The one-on-one consultation link is down below in the description box. This consultation is going to be free of charge, so that means that you can reach out to my team. You can talk to them about your portfolio, and then they can help you study or select universities in New Zealand, and also not only that but apply for it as well, and then see if you are eligible for the scholarships. So again, the link is down in the description box below. Now, one of the things that happens when you are moving to some other country is, number one, you will be thinking about what are the job opportunities like, right? What kind of part-time job opportunities can you avail as a student, and whether there is actually job opportunities available. So in New Zealand, there are opportunities that you can work in as a student. You are allowed to work 20 hours off campus part-time. So you can work in hospitality industry, you can work in administration, you can also work in retail industry. So all of these are the opportunities that are available. Now let's go on to talk about whether you should be studying in New Zealand or not. See, now since I am telling you all of these scholarships and everything is available, one of the things that you don't understand is like to look at it from your future's perspective, right? Whether it is going to be fruitful for you or not. As I told you before, it's not only about moving to that country, but it's also about getting that grasp in terms of, whether you'll be able to settle in there, whether you'll be able to find a partner, whether you'll be able to find a home, or whether you'll be able to buy your home ever, right? So in those cases, let's talk about who should be moving to New Zealand and what are some of the in-demand courses in New Zealand. So some of the in-demand courses in New Zealand are in IT sector. So anything related to information technology, that is computer science course, or software development course, or anything along those lines. Healthcare, engineering, business management, and environmental sciences. These are the top in demand courses, and if you were to study these, the likelihood of you getting a job and being able to settle in New Zealand is much higher. These are also very well paid jobs as well, by the way. If you're also like into, let's say, project management or product management in the software industry, then also you are eligible for it, right? So you can think about it from that perspective as well. Some of the business roles, such as international business, again, business related HR or project or product management roles are also very much in demand as well. Now let's talk about the salaries, right? What kind of salary can you expect? Because what's the cost of living in New Zealand, and how can you meet that cost? So talking about salaries, it definitely depends on which company you're working in, but there is like a basic range that you can expect. So the basic range of salary, the starting salary you can expect is anywhere from 70 to 85 thousand New Zealand dollar per year. So in my opinion, that's a good, and that's also kind of equivalent of what you'll be getting paid in Canada or in Australia. Maybe in Australia in some parts you might get a little bit more salary, but again, there getting a PR is very, very difficult. Now let's talk about high in demand jobs. As I told you, of course, if you are in IT and if you're studying IT, then of course the high demand jobs are going to be in IT. The other high demand jobs are in healthcare industry. Nurses are very well regarded and paid well in New Zealand, something in engineering, actually any type of engineering, but to be very specific, you can go for either, of course, software engineering. Construction is also something that's booming. Then you can also go for electrical engineering. These are the in demand courses. Marine engineering is also in demand in New Zealand. Moving on to PR options, how can you achieve PR in New Zealand? So there are quite a few PR options in New Zealand. First one is skilled migrant category. So if suppose you have lived and worked in New Zealand on a work visa under skilled migrant category, then you are eligible to apply for that PR. The second one is work to resident category. Now this is a two-step process where you first obtain work visa, and then after 2 years of living and working in New Zealand, you can get residence visa. And the requirement for this one is you must work in an occupation that the New Zealand's long-term skills shortage list is providing. Again, talking about skills shortage, so these are the in-demand occupations as well, right? So that's your clue right there. If I have not covered a course, I would say that just go and look up under this skilled category which all things are there in demand, and if anything that suits your interest, you can study a course related to that in New Zealand. So basically within 2 years of working in New Zealand, you are eligible to apply for PR. And that's all for today. So if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will be putting in all the links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.